Yo, what is up, y'all? It's Cone back here again tonight with another episode of After the Buzzer. This is a weird one because I'm only going to be recapping one game. Basically, if you haven't noticed in the NBA, half the players right now are gone. And so there's really not a lot going on in the NBA right now for me to talk about. As kind of like a long narrative, I like to look at games in terms of the narratives that you can kind of pull from them over the course of maybe the last week or so to kind of thread together how an NBA team is doing, what themes are going on right now in the NBA. And the only theme going on right now is that nobody's healthy. Every team has like half their teams out, so there's really not much to talk about in the NBA at the moment. A couple cool moments today. We had Joe Johnson showing up in the game against the Cavaliers for the Boston Celtics. He had his one jumper that he took, so right now he's averaging 37 points per game per 36, which is dope. Cam Reddish went off for the Hawks. Tyrese Halliburton continues to ball out for the Kings. But really, I thought this would kind of be a good opportunity for me to focus a little bit more on the Thunder as a team in this game, because right now they're on a 3-game win streak, something that a lot of people probably didn't expect them to do this season, some people before the season, and after we start off the season pretty rough. I believe it was 0-5, 0-6. A lot of people believe that the Thunder might go on to lose every single game, is kind of the narrative that went around. And as of recently, the Thunder lost by 73 to the Memphis Grizzlies without a lot of our really important players, and people were piling on the Thunder, saying that, oh, their rebuild is already going nowhere, Sam Presti needs to get fined, all this stuff after that loss. Is 73 points a pretty bad loss? Yeah. The worst loss ever, 100%. But still, it's like people haven't watched the Thunder outside of that game before or after it, because that's kind of a narrative that continues to get brought up when people aren't watching the Thunder regularly. This Thunder team, as of right now, are playing their best basketball of the season. And as a young core, things are really starting to come together for the team. Each young player is showing why they are important and special to the core. So I want to go through and kind of give you a layout of how each player played in this game and kind of how they look long-term in the core, and over this 3-game win streak, what they have shown me and what they should have shown you if you have seen the games. So, starting off, of course, Thunder winning tonight by 14 points against the Denver Nuggets. We had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with his second triple-double of his career, 27, 11, and 12. He was pretty unstoppable in the first half of this one. In the second half, he did slow down quite a bit. The Nuggets kind of focused a little bit more on him, and he wasn't quite getting to the same spots he was getting to in the first half. Of course, other guys stepped up, though. Bazley had a great game. Josh Giddey had 14, 5, and 3. Jeremiah Robinson-Earl outplayed Nikola Jokic in this one with 14 and 9. Dort hit 4 threes with 15 points and 6 rebounds. Beating the Nuggets by 14 points, this was a big win for this Thunder team. This was their biggest margin of victory this entire season, and they showed a lot of the promise that they have. This was a big game. If you are a Thunder fan, or if you want to kind of figure out what people see in the Oklahoma City Thunder team, what I see in them, watch this game. Watch some of the plays that this Thunder team makes. The ball movement was great. The basketball was just super fun to watch. There's so many great hustle plays. This team wants to win, and they put in a lot of effort offensively and defensively. Defensively, they've been a top 15 team, better than average in defense this season. And it's because of the hard work they put in on that end. They were clamping the Nuggets up left and right. They were completely committed to trying to stop Nikola Jokic, who is one of the best offensive players we've seen in a very long time. We're trying to do everything to shut him off and shut off this Nuggets offense that can really get going at times. Of course, they are missing players. That is 100% true. But still, this was a game where the Thunder came in where they were the underdogs, and they made it look like the exact opposite. So, let's go through each player. Of course, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, like I mentioned, triple-double in this one, 10 of 24 shooting, so right around that 45-ish, I can't do math, percent. 11 rebounds, 12 assists, 27 points, a steal and a block. He was masterful in that first half. No one could stop him. He was getting to the rim pretty much every single time he wanted to. He had some really tough finishes. He had this one hustle play where he missed a 3, grabbed his own rebound, and then drove past Jokic for a dunk. Shai does everything. He is the franchise cornerstone. He is the guy that's going to lead this team on. And in that 73-point loss to the Memphis Grizzlies, he wasn't there, which is a big reason why it was such a bad loss. And some people don't think that Shai could... I'm not saying we would have beat them if we had Shai, but we don't lose by nearly 73 with Shai. Shai puts this whole thing together. He can put this team on his back, especially in the clutch. He's been one of the most clutch players in the league this season. He's 4th right now in clutch points in the entire NBA. not just like the Western Conference or amongst young players in the entire NBA. Shai's been one of the most clutch players in the league. And over the course of this 3-game win, even over the course of the last 4 games, where we could have had another win if Devontae Graham didn't hit the most insane buzzer beater of all time, Shai had 33 in that game against the Pelicans, 18, 3, and 6 against the Clippers, including the game-winning 3, 23, 5, and 4 with 3 steals against the Grizzlies, including 6 points in the last 2 minutes. And tonight against the Nuggets, 27 points, like I mentioned. Shai continues to ball out. He's trying to make that push for the All-Star game. You already know I'm going to be pushing that propaganda. He is a big-time player, and I think people are kind of starting to notice him a bit more. I think he is less so than a lot of other guys on this Thunder roster, a guy that's kind of being overlooked at this point. I think most people know who he is. Some people still don't know how good he is, but Shai is starting to get that recognition, and that's exactly what I want to see. Of course, Josh Giddey has been phenomenal. He's playing by far the best basketball of his career right now. Over those same last 4 games, here are his games. Against the Pelicans, 17, 9, and 7, 8 of 18 shooting. Against the Clippers, 8, 18 rebounds and 10 assists. Against the Grizzlies, 19 points, 5 rebounds, 11 assists. And tonight, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 of 11 shooting, 2 steals, and a block. Josh Giddey's playing phenomenal basketball. He is easily a top 5 rookie so far this season. He's balling out. His playmaking has been phenomenal. His rebounding has been way more than I expected it to be. His scoring is coming along. He's really good at getting to the rim, and once he gets to the rim, he's good at kind of finishing through that contact, getting around guys. It's been really impressive. I didn't know how much touch he had at the rim, and being a legit 6'9", 6'10" guy, his ability to both get there and finish around the rim is super impressive. I really like what I've seen from him. Of course, you've seen his playmaking. You know how good he is, but he continues to do really, really good things in this game against the Nuggets, playing really solid defense, getting, like I mentioned, that block that he got. He was being backed down by, I believe it was Jeff Green. He was backing him down, and he looked like he was like, oh, this guy's skinny. He's smaller than me. I can totally get to the basket. He backed him down all the way, and as soon as he turned around, Giddey had fast enough hands to grab the ball and just yank it out of his hands and throw it out of bounds. It was like a snatch block without Green even able to get off the ground. His defense is so much better than advertised, and Giddey and Shai are really starting to figure out how to play together. They've played a lot more minutes together as of recently, and they've thrived in those minutes, which is a big piece to why this Thunder team is starting to work so well, because these 2 guys who have been 2 of the top 3 players, I would say probably Dort is number 2 with Giddey at number 3. You could switch those maybe. But those 2 guys, Shai and Giddey, are the backcourt of the future. And so their ability to kind of figure things out together is super important. And they are thriving in those minutes together. And that's a big reason why the Thunder are finding their stride so far. For Dort, in his last 3 games, 29 against the Clippers, 4 threes, 12 against the Grizzlies, 3 threes, including a lot of important hustle plays down the stretch. Denver Nuggets, 15 points, 4 threes. He's finding his stride. He continues to up his 3-point percentage. He's just below 34% now. After an abysmal start to the season, he's been nailing threes left and right. I just dropped a video talking about how good Dort is and how much he's improved. So if you want to see that, go check it out. Against the Nuggets, he had a play tonight where he missed a 3 pretty badly, but as soon as he shot it, he could tell it was going to miss, so he hustled, and the ball, before landing out of bounds, Dort jumped out of bounds, grabbed it, threw it really deep to Giddey, who saved it, and then Giddey hit him. He ran to the opposite corner and took another 3 and drilled it off the Giddey assist. His effort to go from one corner, grab the brick 3, save it out of bounds, throw it to a guy who can get him the ball back, and then sprint to the corner, those hustle plays are incredibly important. The effort that he and everyone else on this team have been showing over this 3-game win streak is huge, and it's super fun to watch. Despite being a young team, and despite being a team that hasn't been very good this season, they play super, super hard. They play like they have a chance to win a championship every single night. They go into every game with something to prove, and that's what they've been doing. Darius Bazley got moved to the bench 3 games ago. The game against the Clippers was his first game on the bench, I believe, and a lot of people were excited about it because Bazley has been kind of off and on so far this season, but one thing that stays consistent is his defense, and even since he moved to the bench, his offense looks so much better. So maybe this is a role that Bazley needs to be in for the foreseeable future because he's been thriving. He still plays in important minutes, he still plays for a lot of the game, but starting off the bench, it kind of seems like it's just a different feeling for him. Since he's coming off the bench, he has 10 points, and 17 points, all on around 50% shooting. He shot 3 of 8 in that first game, 4 of 7 in the second game, and 7 of 11 tonight. 17 points, 11 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 blocks. He is locking up. He's top 20 in the league in block shots. Darius Bazley is showing a lot of potential as a defensive anchor. We've played some minutes in this game and as of recently with him at the center too. And in those minutes, he's been thriving. He's super athletic, and when he's in the center position, he provides a good bit of spacing. He can kind of stand out in the corner. He can even make some plays. He had one play where he kind of pump faked a three, got past the defender, and then Euro stepped around Jokic for kind of the double pump dunk in this game. He's showing a lot of potential as our defensive anchor, and if he's able to just knock down threes pretty consistently with the defense that he plays, Bazley is a super valuable player to have on this team. Trey Mann is one of very few rookies who's shooting around 40% from, I believe right now, at least last time I checked, he was the best three-point shooting rookie with a certain amount of attempts so far this season. At 30, I think he's at 39% from three on this season. In this game, he had 7 points. He was only 3 of 9, but he's been finding his stride. He had 11 against the Clippers in that game where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander hit the game winner. Trey Mann is really stepping up big time. He's one of the best space creators in this entire draft. In the league, really, he's one of the guys that he is just so good at getting to his spot and getting the shot up that he wants. They're not falling quite at the rate that he wants them to yet. Right now he's shooting 42% on the season, but that's going to continue to climb. And the three-point shooting that he's shown, his ability to create space, those shots will start to fall. And he's going to quickly become a name that a lot of people recognize. He has dunked on 2 guys this year, he's broken 2 guys' ankles, and he shot threes from the hash mark. He can do a little bit of everything. He shows me shades of Damian Lillard. I'm not saying he's going to be Dame, but there are shades of that there. And finally, in this game, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, like I mentioned, outplayed Nikola Jokic, the MVP of the league. 14 points, 5 of 11 shooting, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. He had some really big rebounds too. The Nuggets started to kind of go on a big run. They were getting a lot of offensive boards. And then Jeremiah Robinson Earl came in. He was grabbing a lot of tough boards over guys, jumping super high, wrestling it out of guys' hands. He was amazing tonight. He played some great defense on Jokic when he was in. Of course, it's impossible really to stop Jokic, but he was doing a really solid job, especially for a rookie that you can't really expect that much out of, who's only 6'9". He's more of a power forward. He started at power forward for us tonight, and yet in those big minutes, he was phenomenal. He was really good tonight. He's a floor spacer. He can do a little bit of everything, and he's a really solid rotational piece going forward. So this is kind of just a taste of every single Thunder player that excelled in this game. They're all important to the core. I can mention other guys. Kenrich Williams has a ton of great hustle plays that really contribute. Derek Favors has been solid shooting the mid-range jumper. He's not obviously a piece of our future really going forward, but he has been solid in recent minutes, especially tonight. It felt like he couldn't miss a mid-range jumper. Aleksej Pokusevski has had some pretty big minutes as well. In this one, he didn't score, but he plays solid defense. He has steal and a rebound. He's really kind of just in the right spot at times, and he helps the offense run pretty smoothly. 3 points last game with 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block. He's kind of, while it is in small minutes, he's finding and showing a lot of flashes into his game. He's a guy that a lot of people are like, oh, this Poku guy stinks because he doesn't put up a lot of stats. But he goes kind of beyond that, and he hasn't had a ton of minutes, but when he does get those minutes, Poku shows a lot of those same flashes he showed last season. So, all of this to say, the Thunder in this 3-game win streak are really showing out. They're showing why they're a special young core and why, despite being a super young team and a team that did, yes, lose by 73 points, they're entirely deserving of your respect and not to sleep on them. Right now, in the NBA standings, they are at I believe the 13th seed in the Western Conference. Yes, they're at the 13th seed in the Western Conference. They're 1 game back of a play-in spot. They're 1 game back of the Portland Trailblazers. The Trailblazers, who have Damian Lillard and are supposed to be a team that's trying to contend for a championship at this point, or at least that was their aspiration. They're not that far out from all of those things. When Shai Gilgeous-Alexander plays, the Thunder are over a 500 team at this point. So, all this to say, don't sleep on the Thunder's future. The Thunder have a really bright one, and yeah. So that's all I have to say about this team and about this game tonight. This was a big win for them. This has been a big win streak for them. They really are enjoying playing basketball. And I've had a lot of fun watching the Thunder over these last 3 games, despite being a rebuilding team. Let me know what your thoughts are on this game and the Thunder in general in the comment section below. I appreciate y'all watching. I will see you all later. Real one, say it back.